everyone, welcome to today's video. So today we are going to talk about everything is present here. Everything is present here now in this moment. So so when you understand that the concept of everything um, like the concept of everything plays with the concept of nothing. Like if we can talk about anything at all, then we can talk about both nothing and everything. Yeah. So so if we understand nothingness as the container for everything, for all there is, so there is absolutely nothingness, and then that nothingness is the container, or there's emptiness, then emptiness is the container. So the word nothingness or emptiness are just words that we use to describe a phenomenon that is beyond the explanation of our five senses. Okay. So nothingness, emptiness in that does not really mean what they connote, but that's how the mind would define it. So people make a lot of mistakes when they are in the state of meditation because they are trying to find some form of stillness or silence. Okay, but it's not something to be found, it's something that you are. Silence, stillness is what you are. You know yourself as both the silence and movement the movement of everything. It is it is a complete allowing of everything happening inside of you in the moment. A complete allowing of everything happening to happen, so that you cannot look within yourself and point at somebody or something doing anything in particular. When we are lost in the matrix or in the activities of doing things out here, there is an unconscious assumption that there is a separate I going about doing something. So, and what the matrix is, in essence, is getting lost in that idea that there's a separate I doing something independent of everything else. No, whatsoever you are doing is dependent on what the universe is doing. We are the microcosm of the macro. Okay, so whatever it is that we are doing with ourselves personally, our character, whatever we portray as our character to the public, or whoever we truly are in private, um, whatever it is whatever play that we are engaged in, It's only a fraction of, or a sort of signpost to what the universe is doing in its own essence. So by watching your life, you can tell if the universe is asleep or awake. By watching your life, you can tell what the universe is doing, and if you don't want it to do a particular thing, you know what to do to change it, which is not doing anything at all, just recognizing, knowing, having the idea that everything is taking place effectively without you participating at all in it. Okay? So when there is you not participating in any of all these activities, then the universe is more clearly seen. The universe is more clearly expressed in itself. Okay? So everything is present as potential in the space in our present moment. Okay, so but whatever limitation that exists is has been placed on it by what the background of space is carrying, what the background of space is currently carrying in your perception. Okay, so if I am not in the airport, I cannot take a flight, I cannot book a flight. So when I'm in the airport, I have the background of space portray that reality that I am in the airport. So in my perception, I would see planes, I would see travelers with their luggages. Okay, I'll hear some certain sounds that reflect that I am at the airport. And so if I am there, then I am I am bound to some certain limitations also, but also um, have the opportunity to explore some um, some options that would not necessarily be there if I was not there presently. Like for example, I can decide to take a stroll down I can't remember what they call it now, so I can see the plane's taxi, or I can just open I can just continue scrolling through my phone while I'm there. Okay. So the point is that our limitations are bound by what the content of our background carries at each moment. So the thing is this: to be unbound from such limitations, then something has to be more real in the moment than the material things that the background carries. Okay, so the background of space carries matter. So everything that you see outside of you so this is supposed to be a sheet of paper, and then this is me, you. Okay. So whatsoever this guy on this sheet of paper or this screen of space, whatsoever it looks at, is going to appear as the background. It's going to appear as the background of the paper. Okay. But compared to this 2D guy, we have a background. We have a background that stretches infinitely away from us. It stretches infinitely. Okay, so there is no getting to the end of the space. So what happens when we begin to pay more attention to the space rather than the objects inside of it? So the first thing that you will notice is that this person, this stick person, has to go, has to be part of the background itself. Why? Because if it is alive, if it is right here in this paper, living and walking and alive, it feels alive, such that it can observe its outside environment apart from itself, then there must be something that has far more life than it or him or she alone. Why? Because he is only powering, this small little guy is only powering his own perception. He's powering his own sheet of paper. So with the power that was given, okay, it was used to power his own self-awareness, his own sheet of paper, just the way we power our own space. Everybody has their own sheet of paper, everybody has their own space, living or existing in their own spatial awareness. Okay. So in order to find that power that has the most life, he has to disidentify with the character in the sheet. And how does he do it? He has to find a way to observe the whole sheet. He has to find a way to observe the whole sheet. Because in observing the whole sheet, he is capable of observing every other thing that is in between the sheets, above, below, beyond, beneath, up, down, around the sheet. Is able to observe everything. If there are more books, if there are more things other than books, other things other than thoughts, other things other than emotions, he or she will be able to have access to it, because they've stopped identifying with, they've done two things. They've stopped looking outside of, they've stopped looking to the background of space for answers, and they've stopped identifying with one of the character in the space itself. So move beyond that and see reality as the space carries it. Okay? So in this sense, the character notices. Now the character that is already dead and is now observing with the eyes of no one, nothing. There is no one there. There is an higher intelligence that is empty of form, because everything is empty of form. Okay. So this higher intelligence is not there. It's empty of form. Just as the ego is not there, it is empty of form. The only real thing that is there is what we call silence. Silence. Intelligent silence. It has shown itself to be intelligent. So when the character moves outside of the page, he's able to see every other page in eternity. Every other page is able to see, every other book is able to see. So everything is present here is the understanding that outside of the object that the space carries, the space itself carries every other thing. It carries every other background outside of the current background that seems to overshadow reality in this moment. The space that is carrying it is also carrying every other background. It is also carrying every other sound, every other movement, every other feeling, every other emotions. So the space right now carries every other thing. Just the way the space carries your body and carries your own emotions, it also carries every other thing right in the moment. So if that's the case, then it's easy for one to simply focus on what they prefer. To focus on what you prefer rather than focusing on what happened that you did not like. Okay? Because what happened, the unpleasant activities that happened and the pleasant activity that can happen, which already has happened because it's inside a space that carries everything in potentiality and actuality. That is, everything is already happening now. So inside of the place, inside of that mind that you carry what is unpleasant, you can also carry what is pleasant. And it's not that you can carry, it is knowing that the potential of what is pleasant is actually existing in the same place where the potential of what is unpleasant is existing. So they are existing simultaneously in equal proportion. So it's more like, which one would you choose? Which one do you choose? Which one do you choose to focus on? Which one do you choose to feel? So is the state of everything. Everything is present here in the space. As soon as you put your eyes, you put your attention back on the empty space, you will notice that everything is already present. Everything is already present in that space. So as soon as you put your focus, your attention back to the invisible formlessness in that contains everything, that is in everything, contains everything, overlaps everything. Okay, so as soon as you put your attention there and notice the emptiness of everything, and that that nothingness is carrying everything like a thread. It's carrying everything that there is. So, and the more you pay attention to this knowledge, the more the dream like nature of reality unfolds, the more it comes out, the more it blossoms. Because reality is supposed to feel like a dream, but it feels like work. It feels like it feels like it feels threatening. Yeah, it feels threatening. But the more the space outside inside is being noticed, then the more dreamlike reality becomes. Okay. So the idea of trying to get something, going somewhere to get something, is only for the it's only permitted in the matrix, in the daily activities of going up and down. But to get anything outside of the limitation, so the matrix comes with its limitations. So, like I was trying to explain earlier, I can I cannot board an airplane here, right here, because of the limitations. And if I want to board an airplane, I have to move from here to another location that can give me that capability. But what if I cannot move? What if I have some constraint that I cannot move to that other area? Okay, then that is where the knowledge of consciousness comes in. It is in this struggle of trying to get to a particular place that we have noticed that we cannot get to with our own power. Okay, so that's where God or consciousness or love comes in. Okay, and so in for us, it is the recognition that you already are everything everywhere right now, and the limited expression that you are expressing is due to the kind of thought patterns that is contained in the mind right now. And that if you want to know those thought patterns, you know them through silencing the mind. And by silencing the mind, as the mind becomes more silent, then the dreamlike nature of reality is revealed, where it notices that the struggle was an illusion and that everything that can be ever pursued is already present in this moment, appearing as a form that the ego cannot enjoy, because the ego expects it to be in another form. Okay. So in this case, the feeling body directs. So this guy on this sheet of paper has different other sheets of paper. Okay, these sheets of paper, they go for all eternity, and they branch out into different forms. They branch out. They branch out to different other realities. So the feeling of this guy, and so these papers or this screen of space is rapidly being observed or being watched, like the way um, cartoon characters are being created. Okay, so this feeling, the feeling of that person, is what guides the tape as it is being rolled. So however the person feels in the moment guides the tape into the direction that would that the person would eventually have a feeling of complete peace and unity with oneself, because that is another form of everything. Another form that everything carries is to be at peace with oneself, or to experience the nothingness of all there is. Okay, so I hope this video helped, and I'll see you in the next video.